Hello and welcome. This is Japan, and we have a Raw review from the 20th of October. A pretty stacked show when you really think about it, with the amount of title matches and number one contenderships. Honestly, like out of the five matches that we have here, four of them had big implications for the future. I would say Stephanie and Roxanne would have if they really set up anything. I think it's just going to set up like maybe a little bit stuff down the line, but honestly, I don't think it, when you look at it compared to everything else, I don't think it's the craziest thing. But let's just jump into it. So we start off the show with Adam Pearce talking about the world heavyweight title. Then the Bronze and the Oracle come down with the title, which is a nice little touch. And they have some back and forth, basically being that they're going to have to return the title and that they're going to do a number one battle royale, number one contendership battle royale at the end of the show to see who faces CM Punk at Saturday Night Main Event for the title. Kind of a cool concept. I really, right off the bat, thought LA Knight was going to be the number one contender. I thought he probably was the best person. Or they should have just picked somebody that was completely a dark horse, because more than likely CM Punk was going to win either way. But we didn't really get either one, but we'll jump in that when we get to that part. But the beginning part, then Paul Heyman talked about afterwards about, Seth Rollins and all that. So it wasn't anything super crazy, but the concept and the whole start made it like a really fresh and big start to the whole show. So I'll put up in an A tier. Then we get our first match. It'll be AJ Styles and Dragon Lee versus the Judgment Day for the tag team titles. Now, right off the bat, I'm like, I want AJ Lee, no, AJ Styles and Dragon Lee to win so they could be the team of AJ Lee. That would have been the best. I know CM Punk said it later, but it was like, damn, I was waiting and waiting and wanting to do that as a video. And then, of course, CM Punk had to beat me to it, but it makes sense. So, overall, this match I thought was, pretty applicable. Like, really don't get to see Judgment Day do much of anything, but I think Jetty McDunn's always a star out there. Dragon Lee really went up there. AJ Styles shows that he's just classic. And, Finn Balor's not bad. It was just, he didn't have as much highlighting on this one. But the Judgment Day lose the title, which is well needed, because this was only their second title defense. They just really didn't do anything with them, and they were just kind of hijacked. Now, putting it with AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, there's a lot of different stuff that can come from there, but this is definitely, I think, a fun team to have for a while, and they could really do some stuff in this tag division to highlight it, for one, because Raw's tag division is just awful, and two, it just helps AJ Styles kind of cement his final run here and like kind of go on a little bit of a title run, hopefully for a little bit. But I think I'll do like a whole little video on this because it's kind of an interesting concept. I'll put this in a solid B. Wasn't bad, wasn't great. I feel like they could have definitely done a little bit more. Only a 13-minute match, but it is what it is. Then we had Dominic Mysterio versus Rusev for the IC title. Now, I could have 100% predicted all of this that ended up happening, because we knew Penta would come down and mess it up for him, and Dom would try to cheat to get out of it. This time he tried to get the hammer. It didn't work, so he ended up kicking Rusev in the balls. Honestly, it's a little bit of a played out, boring feud to me. In general, I really like Dom as the Intercontinental Champion, but he just really hasn't had those like feuds you can sink your teeth into. I still like his title run. I just really think they need to work on something after this. I really do think the ideal thing was to have a triple threat and maybe make it a fatal four-way if they decide to add John Cena into it. And so John Cena could, one, have another match with Rusev, and then have a match with Dominic Mysterio and pin one of them, or even pin Penta to basically win the IC title. At least that would be my feeling. I don't know if they're setting this up or if it's just completely a fantasy booking. So I guess we're going to have to see. This match was just okay. Wasn't super long. It was only 9 minutes long, and it kind of felt that way. I'm going to put it up in B. I thought there were still some shining points, but I don't think I could put it any higher. Next up, we had Maxine Dupree versus Becky Lynch. Honestly, it didn't really feel like Becky Lynch got to do much on here. Maxine's improving in the ring, but still struggling. I think this was the best out of the three matches that they had. Don't know if that means much of anything, but this is definitely not Becky's worst Intercontinental Championship defense. But like, is that good just because you're not the worst thing ever? I do think that the Intercontinental Championship is just trending down and trending down. I just keep hoping that we get something new and they do something with this, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be anytime soon. So We're gonna put this in C. Next up, we had after that, after Becky, basically blowing up, getting the DQ, losing the match. I didn't even really even get to say that because the match was pretty much just kind of okay. She finds Paul Heyman, who had just been informed that both Brawns were out of the Battle Royale. Cool touch to it, kind of. I kind of wish they were in it because it's kind of like makes the whole thing pointless. And like they didn't even do anything like come down and try to like mess with anybody. I just thought it's kind of an odd choice, I guess. But I guess we'll see what they have planned. But Becky just absolutely laid into Paul Heyman. This was just great. It really felt like you know Becky really got a hold of what she was trying to do with her character here. So I'm putting it up an S tier. I really like this. This was a good promo slash intimidation, whatever you want to call it. It was great. Then we get to the only really non-title match or non-anything match was Stephanie versus Roxanne Perez. Honestly, Roxanne Perez has had such a weird rookie year. Like she's had so many matches. She's tied with LA Knight as having the most amount of matches, but it's just kind of crazy because like a lot of those matches she lost. I this one wasn't like a bad match, but I just expected her to like possibly get one over on Stephanie to set up a match. Like maybe they cheat and they do something or something else, man, or get a DQ loss. I just felt like a clean loss was just kind of wild. I mean, it was 11 minutes, it was a pretty decent match, but I think overall, I've liked other stuff with him, and I think the crowd really ruined it. It just felt like they were dead for this, and I hated that. So I'd probably put this in C. It just didn't really live up to what these two could do. Not really against them. I just felt like they they had a little bit of time and they spent some time on the technical stuff, which is cool. I like seeing that, but I think that killed the crowd and I think it just killed the momentum for the whole match. And then we get to the Battle Royale. This had Jey Uso, AJ Styles, Akira Tozawa, Dominic Mysterio, Dragon Lee, El Grande Americano, Finn Balor. Um, I was just reading the list. It had Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller was not in that. Grayson Waller was in there? Maybe he was. I didn't even see him. He must have got eliminated on the commercial break. Ivar, JD Madden, Jimmy Uso, Kofi Kingston, LA Knight, Otis, Penta, and Rusev. So they had a giant thing with no bronze. This made it a little bit weird. It kind of really, once they announced this, was pretty much going to be like an LA Knight or Jey Uso thing for me. I really thought there could have been some cool things like AJ Styles winning could have been interesting. Obviously, he just won the tag team titles, but AJ versus CM Punk would be pretty cool. I could have also seen like Finn Balor after them dropping the tag team titles to do something like that. They get an opportunity against CM Punk. I think that could have been a cool match. Penta obviously, but I mean they just had him in an IC title match, so it probably wasn't going to be feed. Even Dominic Mysterio would have been a good thing because it almost like fit with Dom and CM Punk having matches on the house shows that this could have been a possibility and Dom trying to be like a triple champion. So there could have been some other storylines that worked out better here. I just felt like, who they ended up picking was a little bit odd to a certain extent, but Jey Uso ends up winning. The pretty much the story told inside that match is then Jimmy Uso was trying to save him a bunch of times, and then he eliminates Jimmy Uso and LA Knight, and then Dominic almost gets him, but Dominic gets thrown over the top, and he gets eliminated for the second time because he cheated and got back in when the refs weren't looking. So kind of an interesting thing. I thought there were some definitely some fun moments here. I do really like battle royals. I think they always have some like fun things that can come from it. Obviously, a lot of people got an extra couple seconds in there. We did get to see Ivar a bit. It was good to see him, Tozawa, those type of people that you can maybe get a backstage thing, but you rarely get matches. Like they'll get like 3 matches in a short period of time, and then it's like nothing after that. So I think overall, I'd put this Battle Royale up in the S tier. I really did like it. I mean, obviously, the wrestling inside of it's going to be different. In the story being told, it's different from what it is. Don't think Jey Uso is the right call here. It makes it very, very likely that CM Punk's gonna win. I really wish they should have just tried to make a star. This is like one of those moments where you have basically like a fire starter and you could really set somebody off, and they could have really just picked somebody like almost anybody on the roster to get a huge push, even though they probably were going to lose to CM Punk and it wouldn't have really mattered. But I don't know. It didn't happen. Now they said I still can't believe Grayson Waller is in here. I did not see him. I don't know why. It says Jimmy and Jay eliminated Grayson Waller. Why don't I ever remember that? That doesn't feel like that happened. Like it really must have been on a commercial or like a quick thing because I don't remember seeing Grayson Waller in it. It makes sense, um, but overall, I think that's about it. And then we'll talk about the main event match that they did set up for Saturday Night Main Event: CM Punk, Jey Uso. Really not looking forward to this match. I'm gonna be honest. Like Jay has a lot of like attributes that are good, and one of them is not like he's a top tier wrestler. And CM Punk is one of the best people on the mic, but he's not a top tier wrestler. So I think this match is gonna struggle. I don't even think it'd be the main event there if they ended up with the Cody and Drew McIntyre match. So it's a little rough. I think I'd put this in a B. I mean, it needs to happen so somebody gets the title, but I really don't think it's going to be much of anything. So I guess we'll see what happens. Give the show altogether a B plus. It was a pretty solid show. It was enjoyable. Even the matches that weren't that great was still enjoyable for the storyline aspects, especially in like Becky and Maxine's part. Stephanie and I forgot about Stephanie also got saved by Nikki Bella, which was just kind of random, but they're trying to bring her back into the orbit of things, so they'll probably have a tag match next week. So should be interesting. We also saw a couple other segments with Lara in the back, with Bailey having a surprise for her. That could be wild. It's probably going to be a tag team title opportunity, but if not, I can't imagine what it's going to be. So I guess we'll see what happens. But until next time, this has been Japan. Bye, guys.